Okay, so now we're going to look at the last TAP practice assessment. As you can see, you have two assessments to achieve. There's the interim assessment and the summative assessment. And the final part is a sign-off where your mentor puts in their NMC number and their answer to one of the security questions and says whether you've actually passed or failed. And the part's called the progression. Right, I'm going to do the interim assessment from the student side at the moment. So what you need to do is when your interim assessment is ready, and you'll have a little pink flag that comes up and tells you when it's ready or overdue, click on the edit button. Clicking on the edit button takes you to the grading grid. You can see that you've got the criteria up here, or the learning outcomes that you're being graded against, and here you award yourself a grade, and the grading is anything between A+ and E. So work yourself through the grid, grading yourself as you go. You can go back and change them, I think I'm better than that, give yourself that. Read them through there and try and work out, where you think you fit. And once you've done that, you continue and save, and you go to the next screen. Now we're in the mentor screen, so you're actually now looking at what your mentor's going to see on their side. And as you can see, it says interim assessment completed by student. It's a big tick. So your mentor now goes and does exactly the same as you've done. Clicks on that edit button, and then she can see what you've graded, and they can say, well, I think she was actually an A, or you can say I think she was a B, and we'll look at these and they can grade you on here. Then they save and go to the next one. Oh, it's because I haven't selected an option. Save and next, and they can see what you've written, which is the whole summary total of one word saying reflect, and then they can actually write down there and think, needs to work on timekeeping skills. And they'll probably write a bit more than that, but that's just give you the general idea of what they do. And then they're going to set the learning needs. So once you've done that, it's normally then a good idea for you to meet up with your mentor and actually discuss what you're actually going to be, what she's actually written about you, and set some learning needs. So you can add a new learning need here. So this is now you've done the first part of your placement. You've worked on the learning needs that you initially set, and now you're setting some more at the midpoint for you to actually start to expand your practice further. And it's exactly the same as you did when you did the initial interview. So just going to write something in there, and then that's saved. And again, you add about three or four learning ones here, add another one, and then finish. I'm only going to add one at the moment. And then we check it, and the mentor can also go in and just check and edit the gradings as you can, check the review and look what she's put, edit if she needs to. And then when she's ready, she hits the submit button. And that's your practice assessment for that part done. And if she looks at her view now, you can actually see you've got 2 ticks there. Okay. So now we're back in your portfolio again. So when you're looking in your portfolio, you can see that yours has all been done. Your button's now just view. You can't change anything. It's all signed and sealed. Okay, so if you wanted to go back and look at it, you click on the view button and it's all there, but there's nothing that you can enter or change. At the end of the placement, you'll need to do your summative assessment, and it's exactly the same process as you went through before. So, well, you'll have to hit the edit button, and it will actually show you a view here of what you've actually done. So you've done, that hasn't been completed, so it shows you that there hasn't been completely signed off. There's field specific things which we haven't signed off because this is just a demo. So if you continued, then we load up your grading grid, and then you grade yourself again in the same way as you did before. When you've done all of them, you save and next. Okay, so here you're going to write again your strengths and weakness, what you've learned, etc. How you think this placement went, and as it says there, anything you feel that might have affected your performance. It could be in a positive way affect your performance. It doesn't have to be everything negative. You might want to say, thank your mentor for their support, etc. Or comment on some of the opportunities that you've had. So I'm just going to put reflect in there again. and then save. Then what we do ask you to do, which is actually slightly different, is we are asking you now to think about your future professional development. So thinking about, I know we've just finished this placement, but what are you going to do for the next placement? So looking back on what you've achieved now, what are you going to do in P2? And we ask you to fill out the professional development form here. I'm just going to put a couple of bits in it. Nothing startling. And then we save it. Okay, again, you can go in and change them. You click on these little bits. You can open them up and change them if you want to, but if you're happy, you can click the Submit to Mentor button. And then you can see that yours is done. And then we go over to the Mentor interface. Okay, so now we're in the Mentor interface. And when you click into the practice assessment here, your mentor can now see that you've done your summative assessment and she needs to go in and does hers. So she clicks on her Edit button. She gets a list same as you did, so she can check what's been done and what's not been done. When she's happy, she can then go in and grade you. She can also still see your grades. You can see they're mounting up here. I'll give you a few A's. When she's happy with all of that, she can then submit. And then again, you'd normally she'd give you some feedback based on your feedback, but you'd normally meet as well around this time after she's graded you. Probably should give you the comments first before you get together, just so that you can talk through what the feedback is and think about what you're going to do later on. So this is when she gives you feedback on your placement. And she's then saved that. And then submit the assessment.